it's time at Dish with D. That's me. Thank you for clicking on this video, making yourself a priority. I'm Denise. It is Wednesday. And Wednesday is one of my favorite days of the week because it's the day I film. I film my day in the life vlog. I film Wednesday Wisdom. It's just a great day. So it is Wednesday Wisdom here. And you guys always give me the best questions. And you challenge me every week. So I don't know if you know that. I don't look at the questions beforehand. Right now I just shut off the comments because I don't want to see people commenting after the fact. So let's see what pearls of wisdom you've bestowed on me today. You always make me think. All right. I thought it might be helpful to talk about what concerns we sometimes have about losing weight, eating healthier and exercising, etc. Sometimes it helps to see what actually is holding us back from success. That's interesting. I'm not sure where you're going with that. Holding us back. I guess that one's a confusing one. You've stumped me. What concerns we sometimes have about losing weight, eating healthier, and exercising. I think part of it is losing the old self. I think we recognize ourselves as being the chubby girl, being the heavy girl, being the girl who always eats, being the girl who always is expected to, like, when you're a totally different lifestyle, you're not the person that you once were. And all they know is you, the girl who eats, the girl who's happy. And sometimes we're not as happy. I can be honest with you. Sometimes I'm not as happy as I once was. I know jolly is the word, I think, when you're a chubby girl. I was jollier. Now I just think I'm more focused, and I think it comes off as maybe not being as joyful. But I'm focused because I'm concentrating. And sometimes now, because we have to focus on what we eat, people take that as us being a little bit miserable, maybe, or not as happy or joyful. Sometimes we have to think, we have to concentrate, because eating is just second nature. Picking is just second nature, to grab. You don't have to think about it. But now we have to really focus and concentrate on those behaviors. So, it's a whole new way of life. It's a whole new person. It's a whole new way we deal with it. Some people aren't ready for it. Some people think there's something wrong with you. Like, oh, we miss the old Denise. She was, well, this one is just as jolly. She just has to be a little bit more, has to really think and concentrate and focus a little bit more on the food at hand and the tasks at hand. And we have to plan a little bit more. We didn't have to, before you just ate and never really gave it much thought. Now we have to give it thought. We have to plan. We have to focus. We have to count. So it definitely changes our, in a sense, our personality a little bit, because we're not as just, fly by the seat of our pants, loosey-goosey. We are a person of thought, of conscience, of concern. And sometimes it strikes people the wrong way. People like you the way you were. A lot of people never thought, like, when I was losing weight, and at one point, when they started realizing it, and then, when you've lost a significant amount of weight, and then you told them how much you used to weigh, because after you get a certain weight, you shout out what you used to weigh, because you don't weigh that much anymore. And they look at you like, I didn't realize you weighed that much. Like, there are people out there that just liked you for who you are. And there are people out there that ridicule you for who you are. There are people that can't accept the chubby girl. They look down on the girl that's heavy. That's just how society is. And we know this. We know there are certain people that are going to have something to say. There's always that person that has something to say, because I don't know why, but they always have to say something about somebody. I'm not quite sure why that is. I think because they're just not a happy person inside, that they have to bring other people down to make themselves feel good. Especially, like, I see people who have lost weight look down on people that are heavy. Oh, like, what do you have, the mindset that you can do it, so could she? Well, everybody's journey is different, and the way people attack things are differently. And just because you attacked it and slayed it doesn't mean everybody's going to. And does that make that person less of a person? It doesn't. So get off your high horse if you've lost weight and you think people who haven't are just losers. Yeah. I'm not sure that answered that question, but I'm a little bit confused by it. The next one. D, did you eat differently in the first 50 pounds or the same as you do now? If so, how have your choices changed? I eat the same. Um, I mean, I may be more focused at this point on maybe higher protein options, lower carb options. Um, I don't feel like I changed my diet. I don't, my diet is my diet. I don't sit there and blame food for why I gained weight or this or that. Or, I didn't give up processed foods completely. I don't eat a lot of them, but I don't say that they're negative because they'll have their place in my life. String cheese has its place. Hot dogs have their place. Pepperoni has its place. Legendary Foods has its place. Built Bars. I'm not going to sit there and say, I'm not eating this. I'm not eating that. Do I eat less of everything? I sure do, but everything has a place. And moderation is key on any weight loss journey. There's no food that's causing me not to lose weight. It's definitely at this point, probably the types of foods, like the proteinish. I try to keep balance in what I'm eating. I don't want to feel like I can go any way. Like, people say, you're saying you do low carb. I said, no, I do not do low carb. I do lower carb because my carbs have to be around 100, 110. It's a realistic number for me. I've done low carb, 50 and under. And yeah, low carb drops the weight. I'm not gonna lie, it does. But for me and the way that I like to eat, because I'm Italian, your girl likes her pasta, my bread, that's not sustainable because I know I need to eat it. It's just trying a way to fit it in. And I definitely think, for me too, when I lost my first 50, I didn't have any activity. That's probably the biggest difference now is not the choices of foods, the activity that I've incorporated into my life because I can do it. Back 50 pounds, I couldn't move. Nor should you if you have a lot of weight to lose. You cannot because you could hurt yourself. So definitely that's probably what's changed most. But no, I eat the same, pretty much, yeah. How do you stop turning to food for comfort? I never did. So that's a question that I have a very hard time with, emotional eating or eating for comfort. I never did. I like comfort foods. Per se, like I love spaghetti and that's a comfort food. It's a food of my past. I try to not eliminate it. I think for me, if I stopped eating something, that will cause me to eat too much of it when I decided to have it. Anything that gives me problems, I try to bring into my life in a controlled atmosphere because I know, like, it's cookies, it's cakes, it's pasta. I'm going to have it. I just need to find a way to have it in a controlled atmosphere. But there is a lot of people who do turn to food for comfort. I would suggest the group, and I know I say that all the time, but that is the one thing that you will get from them is support. They will definitely say something to you. They'll be there for you, and that's why we came up with the buddy system. Like, you need a buddy because that's who you turn to when you need comfort, somebody that gets you. And that's why meetings are so key because that's where you get a lot of support at. I definitely would say, like, support system. You could turn to the support system. Hey, I want to eat this, and they will talk you off the ledge. That's my advice for that one. Do we really need to use macros if we are on WW? If you're successful doing WW, no. Macros is just a way to, I always say, stimulate your metabolism to, if you're in a plateau and you just are not moving for a long time, maybe checking out what the types of macros you're eating. High protein, low fat, high fiber, low sugar. Carbs should be definitely at a minimum. I'm not saying no carbs. I'm just saying definitely when we get older, we get postmenopausal in that area. Carbs are not our friend. They turn into sugar. Sugars are not our friend as well. So that is why people count macros, because it's not what they're eating, it's the amount of these macronutrients that they're eating. They need to have a little bit more protein, a little less fat, a little more fiber, a little less sugar. And the carbs need to be at a decent clip, because I think a normal person eats over 200 to 300 carbohydrates a day, and for me, I like to keep my carbs on 110. a few people have said their doctor had said, which is always a good thing to check with your doctor, or to go see a nutritionist. I am not one. Even if I have a certificate, I would never give you that advice. I would always tell you to seek out a professional. I'm a girl on a YouTube channel. But I feel like sometimes it's what we're eating. And when we get to a certain age, we don't digest as we used to. So there's nothing wrong with asking. That's a great question. On healthy, if you get the pro version, it does it automatically for you. You put it in once, it gives you everything. It's good to see. It's good to see. And a girl, I think I was starting to say, she was told by her doctor that 35 grams of carbs per meal was a good, that's 30, 60, 90, that's 105. So yeah, I tried to do 110, 100, that's where I try to fall. So if you feel like you're on a plateau, like that might be an option. How to control binge eating. Binge eating stems from deprivation of an item. If you're binge eating on something, it means you're not eating it. And when you don't eat something, you crave it. And then you just eat it because it's there. I feel like depending on what you're binge eating on would be my question. Is it something you don't eat regularly, or at least once a week? If it's something you put on this pedestal that I don't eat that, like say ice cream. I don't eat ice cream. I don't eat it every week. Well, there's nothing wrong with ice cream in a controlled atmosphere. If you give yourself a half a cup of ice cream, it should be good. Now, some of us, I can't do a half cup. If you have a half cup a few nights a week, you will look forward to that half cup. Would you rather have a half cup of ice cream or no ice cream? And if you can't dish it out, get somebody else to dish it out for you. Or buy it in individual portions, like a Dixie cup. Even if it's regular ice cream, a Dixie cup is probably doable in your points bank. And if you have something, you don't binge on it because you're allowing we binge on things we don't have. We binge on things we want but deny ourselves. I know it's hard. Oh, God, I know it's hard. Chips are a lot of Doritos. People binge on Doritos a lot. People binge on cookies because they're not having them. I always say, find somebody in the house that could actually portion your food out. Say, hi, honey, or whoever, can you give me a half a cup of ice cream? Or have the measuring cup for there. They just say, can you just put that in a bowl for me? Or have a bowl that's a half cup and you just have to fill it up. If up a little bit, it ain't gonna matter. So that's what I would do. I think we binge on things we hold on this plateau if we're not eating during our weight loss journey. Everything should be on the table. In serving sizes and moderation. That's a twofold statement. Yes, we could have that was the big thing. Everything is on the menu, but everything has a serving size. So if you stick to serving sizes, you will find, there's always those things that you're just going to, if you happen to have a bad day and you need to stress eat, it doesn't matter how much you've had it. If it's the stress, it's the stress. People try to change their stress around to different things. I tend to watch Netflix or play Facebook games. People crochet, get their fingers busy. So sometimes it's just a certain item. Stand in the kitchen. And plus, if it's not there, you can't eat it. That's big WW thing. Don't bring it in. So, but I know we have others that like stuff. I know, but have them put it somewhere where they know it is. You don't even need to see it. Like for me, if I don't see it, I don't want it. But if it's sitting out on the counter, I think about it, unfortunately. Do you change foods that are 0 points on the Weight Watchers to 0 points on the Healthy app if it has points? It depends on the plan that I'm on. I'm on Better Balance. And some things have points versus this WW plan. On this WW plan, popcorn is 0 and fat-free cottage cheese is 0. On the Better Balance, which is the old blue plan, you had to pay for popcorn and fat-free cottage cheese. So if I'm following Better Balance, which is the old blue plan, and it's a pointed food, I count it as a pointed food because that's what it was on that plan. That's, you can do what you want, but I feel if I'm following, this is the plan I'm following. I'm not following, unless you are following WW on the Healthy app, but the problem is the algorithm is different. So the points are going to be different all around for certain foods. So you have to make the decision that if you're on Healthy, you're following the old blue plan. If you're doing Better Balance, that's the plan. Sugar Smart is the green plan. So you have to make the decision, if I'm going to do Healthy, I'm not following the same algorithm. That's, that's the dedication. You have to, if you're taking this plan, that's the plan you're following. You could sit there and try to, since the points, you're going to say, well, there are still 23 points a day. True. But the algorithm is different. So you have to either follow one or follow the other. You can't just like follow a little bit of this one and a little bit of that one. It just doesn't work. For me, it doesn't. So, I mean, I just feel like if I'm going to be better balanced, I'm going to have the better balanced 0 point foods. If I want to follow WW, then I will just take the WW app and not follow the healthy app. Just my little 2 cents. Healthy gives you less to eat. No, healthy, it's the blue points algorithm. So the point system is different. The way you figure out points for healthy, better balance is different than the Weight Watchers points plan. Because the Weight Watchers points plan takes everything into consideration. The Better Balance only has calories, saturated fat, protein, and sugar, I think it is. Or those 4 things. That's the difference. Because I've seen some things are the same, and some things, as we know. Say it with me, the string cheese. The string cheese is 1 point on Better Balance Healthy and is 2 points on Weight Watchers. And some of the Kodiak mixes, I just did one this morning, is a third cup is 3 points on WW and it's 4 points on Better Balance. It's just, you take one, it all comes out in the wash, honestly. It's, you may go over your points by 3. I mean, it's one of those things like, in the end, probably does not going to make a big difference, but I just have to tell you that that's what I would do. Have you ever put protein powder in Kodiak pancake mix for an extra boost of protein? I have not, but if I did, because you're going to have to add more liquid and then it's going to make more. So when I put protein powder in something, it usually has flour. I usually take out some, like the cookies that I made. Was that the one I did that to? No, I just added flour to that. If it was a mix, I would, I would use that as my flour, the protein, and then add more flour to it. I wouldn't, because if you're going to add a scoop of protein mix to Kodiak pancakes, you're going to have to add more liquid, which is going to make more pancakes. So you're giving yourself you're getting yourself more protein, but you're also giving yourself more calories as well, and it's a bigger portion. So in the end, it's probably, I know, like off the top of my head, the Motivate protein is 100 calories. It is 1 or 2 points a scoop. So you're adding 2 points, and I think we're going to say 100 calories onto your already calorically dense Kodiak cakes. So that it could be doable, but you're going to have to, like I said, add more liquid. What I like to do for my Kodiak mix, and it ups the protein as well, is I do a 1/3 cup. The serving size is a 1/2 cup. I found it was too much for me. I just found I was too full. So I did the 1/3 cup and I put an egg or 2 tablespoons of egg whites and a 1/3 cup of unsweetened milk alternative. Cashew, almond, coconut, whatever milk you use. Or if you want to use regular milk, use regular milk. They all go, because usually you mix it with water. So I up the calories. Well, it's not many calories, but that ups up the protein. So I throw the egg in there to amp up my protein. What do you get in an egg? Probably, 14 grams of protein? I can't off the top of my head think. But that will up your protein as well. And it's not going to it just makes your pancakes more fluffy. It's not going to, and it may make them a little bit, you might get more out of that 1/3 cup than you would traditionally. But that's what I do. I would not put protein powder in my Kodiak because it just would make way too much. Now, could you get the protein powder and maybe add a little bit of flour to it? Maybe a tablespoon or 2, and then the egg or maybe some applesauce. You could try that. But I wouldn't take the whole portion of Kodiak and then add a whole scoop of protein powder. I think it would make it a little off, in my opinion. What do you think about sugar replacement erythritol and the reports of heart attacks and blood clots? Honestly, I found articles after that saying that they did that, study was not really meant for that, and the amount of erythritol that these people were given was higher than we would ever use. I mean, I'm lucky if I have 2 tablespoons a day, and that's on a good day. Like, there's times I don't have any. I'm not having that much of it, and that, I don't feel that that's a problem for me, honestly. But people, if you're scared, then just don't use, because some of it, erythritol is added to some monk fruits, not all of them, some of them. So if you're worried about that, then don't use it. I feel like the amount that survey said was and I wonder who did that. The study was not done for that. And where did it come from? I always worry about where something comes from. Was it, so I felt fine having it. I don't feel like I'm afraid to use it. I would never sit there and say, oh my gosh, for the amount that I use it, I'm not going to, it just was nowhere near the amount that these people were ingesting. I don't think any normal person would ingest that much every day anyway. And the study was only done on a certain amount of people. So there was reports to come after. Of course, it's funny, you don't hear about that. You don't hear about the study that people reported back on saying this was really debunked. It's the news, The news likes to get things that are blown a little out of proportion, and I think that was. There is one, I will tell you, I'm thinking about ordering, because I do have one more bag to finish up. It just goes to show you how long I have it. A bag lasts me months. You see my recipes, what I'm putting in there. So it lasts, so I still have some to use. I haven't ordered any in months. I'm telling you, I still have one from last Christmas. I ordered through La Canto. They had this like really good sale, and I got like these 2 packs. It lasts me forever. My family uses regular sugar and things, so we have both. But what I was saying, Julian Bakery has a pure monk fruit. It comes in a container. I don't know what the size is. It's pretty pricey, and that's what's kind of be like, wow. But there's no erythritol in it, and I think that's the advertisement from them. But you only need like a quarter teaspoon that you don't use like a half a cup of it. It's concentrated, so you don't use like a teaspoon for like a half cup. So I'm interested in looking into that just to see how it fares. But again, haven't had a chance to order it because I had to use it, but I have. So I'm not afraid of using it. No, I don't really feel that study was done. Truthfully, I don't feel that study was done for that concern. And have we heard from it since? We haven't. So, like I said, you have to do what your mind tells you to do. You have to do what you feel good about. I'm not going to sit and tell you, oh, you definitely should have it. I feel for me, I'm finding it that I could have it, and I've not had a problem. And like I said, I'm not having near close to what they were ingesting those people with. So you have to make that decision what's based for you and what you can, live with. And I always ask your doctor. It always pays to ask the professional. Don't depend on a YouTube person to tell you anything. Just say, I can only tell you what I would do and what's good for me. I don't want to sit there and tell you, say, oh, well, you really should eat that or you shouldn't eat that. I'm not going to sit here ever and tell you what you should and shouldn't eat. That's your decision. That's your choice. I just tell you what I do for me and what works for me and, what I do for myself. You might not agree. You might agree. Like some people would sit there and say, I'm never going to eat a hot dog. Do I eat a lot of hot dogs? I don't. But am I having one Memorial Day? You're bippy. I'm having a ballpark smoked turkey frank. Some people say, oh my gosh, I would never eat. Then you don't have to eat it. But remember, anything in moderation. And to sit there and rule out something because, it's not food's fault that we're heavy or we have weight to lose. It's not food's fault. It's not the type of foods we eat that cause us to be weight. It's the amount of foods that we eat. Pure and simple. It's the amounts. You can stick with anything in moderation and be fine. Don't make yourself feel guilty for having something. Guilt is the worst thing you can serve yourself. The guilt we serve ourselves, the guilt we give ourselves over food. Don't make yourself feel guilty. Don't do that. I feel like we do. We make ourselves feel guilty when we have something we shouldn't have. It's life. And sometimes you have something you didn't plan. And you can't control what other people serve. You have to go there and make the best choices that you can. I'm going to interject that. Memorial Day is coming up this coming Monday for anybody who celebrates, and it's barbecue time. Barbecue season's coming. It's summer. Should you go to somebody's house and expect them to cater to you? Are they going to have WW friendly food? Should they have WW friendly food? What do? You go in there, you scour it all out, you make the best choices you can. Are they going to be perfect? But they're going to be better than the choices you would have made prior to being on a weight loss journey. And that is something to be proud of. Yes, I might have eaten a little more than I planned, but did I eat like I used to eat? No, you didn't strap on the feed bag and just keep eating and, oh yeah, 3 and 4 desserts and chips and salads and you bring on the potato salad. I want another helping. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to have a little bit of taste of everything that you want. And you're going to enjoy it. You're going to sit down. You're going to sip your tea, your water, or your adult beverage. And yes, you're allowed to have adult beverages. I would suggest a plan for 2. If you're a person who likes an adult beverage, me, not so much anymore. I never was. But if you like an adult beverage and it's a barbecue, plan for 2. Bank your points this week. You could bank up to 4 points a day. Bank them. Eat really good this week. Stay on the plan as best you can. So you have points. Don't starve. Repeat after me. I will not starve to bank points. No. You just lean on the 0-point foods. Lean on your chicken. Lean on your fish. Lean on your fresh vegetables. Lean on some fruits. Lean on those foods. But eat. Don't starve to bank points. Don't undereat. Don't skip meals to bank points. Don't convince yourself you're not hungry so you could not have to eat. You know, that you don't need to go to your next meal starving because that's never good. It never works out. You know, and if you're not eating enough and you eat pick sometimes because we're hungry, you're allowed to have a snack. Don't deny yourself a snack because, we're allowed to have snacks. This is sitting here. We're allowed to have a 2-point bag of little iced chocolate puffs. I think these are 2 points. I mean, they're 60 calories. I mean, you sit there and think about it. Are these going to make or break your journey? They're not. But this might help you go into your next meal not like a raving maniac. And you know what I'm talking about. You've been there. Raving maniac. You just go in there like you just want to eat everything in freaking sight. And I know we've all been there. I know that. So yeah, have a banana during the day. Have an apple with a little bit of peanut butter. It'll do a body good. And like I said, I'm not telling you to go out there and eat a filet of fish sandwich for a snack. But you could fit in fruit. You could fit in vegetables and dip. You could fit in puffs. You can keep your snacks to 0 points. There's no crime in that. There's no crime in having a banana. There's no crime in having you can get Honeycrisp apples come really big sometimes. Some stores have them. They're mammoth. Oh my God. But it's still a better choice than some kind of thing that's not so good. It's still a piece of fruit. It's still a natural piece of fruit. So do that. And remember, enjoy your holiday. You know, it's a holiday, not a Halloween. Though if you get invited to more than one party, then it is a Halloween. But again, you be mindful. If you have more than one gathering, you be mindful. And I get slammed for this every time I say it, but I say it every time because I firmly believe. Do not go to somebody's house and bring your own food. I mean, if you want to bring a side dish, that's totally different. We're talking about bringing your own bun or your own burger or your own hot dog. No, because that's a person on a diet. You could have a regular hot dog if you're only having one burger. Pick one or the other. I wouldn't have both. Unless you have them without the bun. If you have them without the bun, then you could really maybe do both. Put your burger on a nice green salad. I love a burger salad. And it's so good. But don't go in there saying, I brought my turkey burger because I can't eat beef. You're not home. You're at somebody's house. Just eat this. I say forgo the cheese. The things that I do, forgo the cheese. I forgo the bun if I really want to have that hot dog too. But I'm just going to have the burger. I always forgo the cheese. To me, cheese doesn't add enough to me, in my opinion. But if you like cheese and you want to think that's important, then you have the cheese. But you know what? Have the bun. What's the most that bun's going to be? 3 points? Because they're not having unless they have really good potato buns or really good fancy buns. But they're having those regular run-of-the-mill hamburger hot dog buns. They're really not that tragic. Or like I said, don't have the bun. Have it on a plate. Douse it with mustard and relish. Have your potato salad. Don't have a whole shit ton. You have a scoop, a nice tablespoon or two. Or if you, but always look at what's out there before you put anything on your plate, because there might be something down the other end that you might want more than, but you can't put it back. And some people have shrimp. Some people have like macaroni salad or pasta salad, or bring a side. Bring a really nice side, and do not go in there telling them it's WW friendly. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know that what you're bringing is WW friendly, because they're going to go, she bought her diet food. Our food is not like the food of our parents. So people think it is, though, because that's the rap it's gone. You don't need to go in there and announce you have a WW food. Oh, I brought a salad. I brought a side dish. I brought my dish with these hummus for dessert, which is, people will scarf down. They will not know it's light. You don't need to announce that. You don't. You know it. You smile there and you eat it and you enjoy it. And you could smile while they're eating it and go, "Whoa, this is really good." You're like, "Oh, thank you." Yes, you don't need to announce you have a WW item in your thing. Yes. Nobody needs to know. They'll probably may assume it because if they know you well enough. But they might not. They might figure, well, she's not going to make anything diet for the barbecue for us. A nice, good fruit salad's always nice. Or like I said, a pasta salad. I will tell you, I make a lot of my pasta salads with whole wheat pasta. I just like it in that, preparation. I don't like it with tomato sauce. But, an orzo salad. Oh, my God, orzo salad. So good. You can get whole wheat orzo. You make, you chop tons of vegetables in there, so you're not getting all pasta. It's all mixture. So there's ways of, like I said, and you don't need a crap ton of it on your plate. You sit there, you enjoy your food, you enjoy the people you're with, you sip your beverage, and you enjoy yourself. And you don't need to announce the WW items. Just saying. So that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this Wednesday wisdom. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, join us here at Dish with D. We'd love to have you as part of our YouTube family. And thank you so much for your questions. They're always challenging me. And like I said, I don't prepare. So if you're interested, a little bit off, that's probably because I can't think that quickly. But that is my take on this week's topics. So thank you for watching. I will dish with you another day. Bye-bye, lovelies.